parí lọ oṣù yìí náà ń parí lọ ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí náà ń parí lọ ọlọ́run má jà bọ́dún lọ má jà bóṣù lọ má jà bọ́sẹ̀ yìí lọ lágbára ọlọ́run. ẹ wá rí gbogbo ọlọ́tẹ̀ tó sọ pé sẹ́ àfi kóun bá tiwa jẹ́ irú ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ ọlọ́run jùrú wọn lọ ọlọ́run ó sì mú wọn. ẹ káàárọ̀ ẹ káàsán ẹ kúrọ̀lẹ́ ẹ káalẹ́ ẹ kú dédé àsìkò tá a wà níbikíbi tẹ́yìn bá ti ń wò wá orí ìkànnì BGI TV bàbá gbàgede mọ̀ tẹlifíṣàn náà láwa o ibẹ̀ láti ń dá bí ẹdun tá a sì ti ń rọ̀ bí òwe. mi ò tí rẹ̀ nìkẹ́ni sọ pé bàbá gbàgede wá gbẹdìyẹ ọdún tiẹ̀ o ẹdìyẹ ọdún mi ń kọ́ o kúkúrú kúkú ta ló jáde lẹ́ni fún mi lẹ́dìyẹ ọdún ni àbá ló ṣe wá lọ ààrùn jẹ ààrẹ dìyẹ ààrí kankan okay o now lónìí mi mọ bí ìbá ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ àṣírí ńlá kan tú lónìí tí mo fẹ́ ká jọ wò mo sì fẹ́ kí gbogbo wa mọ̀ pé ìlú tá a wà yìí ó jẹ́ ìlú kan tó jẹ́ pé àyàn tó yọ̀ sí ó ń kìlọ̀ fúnjọba nínú ìlú tó lù tá a fi wọlé wípé ìjọba Nàìjíríà ẹ ṣọ́ra o ìjọba Nàìjíríà ẹ ṣọ́ra borí ń fọ yín kíákíá ẹ ti kọ́ ọmọ yín ẹ ti gbà lóyìnbó lọ bó ẹsẹ̀ ń dùn yín ẹ ti kọ́ ọmọ yín ẹ ti gbà lóyìnbó lọ ìjọba Nàìjíríà ẹ ṣọ́ra. ó yà mí lẹ́nu nígbà tí mo rí ìlú yẹn tí máa yẹn lù ń bẹ̀ ó ṣẹ̀ ń dojú ẹ̀ bọ̀. now láìpẹ́ yìí ni wọ́n gbé arákùnrin kan tó jẹ́ agbẹjọ́rò tí wọ́n pè ní Délé Fárótìmí wọ́n gbé lọ sílùú Oǹdó kóòtù Oǹdó wọ́n sì jù sí àhámọ́. kí lẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tó ṣẹ̀? ẹnìkan sọ pé ó ṣẹ̀ òun ó kọ orúkọ òun sínú ìwé tí arákùnrin yẹn kọ wọ́n ló bà wọ́n lórúkọ jẹ́. wọ́n tún wá sọ pé nínú ìwé yẹn ó kọ síbẹ̀ pé judicial system Nàìjíríà yẹn ni pé ètò ìdájọ́ ní Nàìjíríà bó ṣe fìdí rẹmi. mo wá wo sàkún pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ mo wá fi kún mo fọ́ọ̀kan kejì mo gbé ntọ́mọkùnrin yẹn sọ mo wú ẹ̀ wò mo rí i pé tá a bá wò dáadáa mo fọlọ́ búra Délé Fárótìmí gba 100%. the only thing tí mi lè sọ ó níjà òun àtàfẹ́ Babalọ́lá mi lè sọ kankan pa yìí torí mi ìmọ̀ lọ́ọ̀yà sí lọ́ọ̀yà mi ìmọ̀ kankan pa yìí àmọ́ lórí ìtókọ pé judicial system Nàìjíríà wà porous wà láìpẹ́ fún 100%. màá mú àwọn ẹ̀rí kan wá lónìí táwa náà fojú ara wa rí kájọ wá jókòó kájọ dàálẹ̀ kájọ tọ̀ṣà. ṣó yẹ kó máa rí bẹ́ẹ̀ nílùú tó lọ́ba tó níjòyè? ṣé lóòótọ́ làwọn olórí wa Nàìjíríà orí Tinubu kọ́ ẹ má ka ọ̀rọ̀ pé Tinubu kọ́ lélẹ̀ ó ti wà láti kọ́ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ń bẹ nísìnyí tá a bá ṣọ́ra bí ó ti máa rí láéláyà ẹ̀ ní pẹ̀kun nìyẹn àmì Bíbélì ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. kì í ṣe Tinubu ló dálẹ̀ rárá ọ̀rọ̀ Tinubu kọ́ yìí ó ti wà nínú ẹ̀jẹ̀ Nàìjíríà pẹ́ni bá ti lè dolórí àpapẹ̀ ní tọ́ bá ti pa ní tọ́ bá fẹ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ máa ṣẹlẹ̀. máa fi ikú Bọ́lá Ìgè máa fi ṣe case study. àṣírí lákan tú sí mi lọ́wọ́ lórí ikú tó pa Bọ́lá Ìgè. Obilo man broadcaster ó interview ọmọ bíbí inú olóyè Bọ́lá Ìgè. láàárọ̀ yìí ni mo wo fídíò ẹ̀ mo fọlọ́ búra wà lámì ìmọ̀gbà tó mi bọ́ lójú mi. kí ni ká fi gbọ́ bí ká sọ pé ìdílé bàbá Fẹ́mi Fálànà ìdílé lọ́ọ̀yà ní ìdílé lọ́ọ̀ ni wọ́n rí ìdílé wọn. kódà ọmọ ẹ̀ tó ń kọrin tó jẹ́ fans òun náà rí ìdí lọ. now ìdílé Bọ́lá Ìgè ìdílé lọ́ọ̀yà ni. ká wá gbọ́ pé Bọ́lá Ìgè wà ní Chief Justice of the Federation ní nígbà tí àwọn assassin lọ pa. Ká wá gbọ́ pé irú Bọ́lá Ìgè yẹn kú, kò rí justice gbà, kò rí justice gbà. Ẹni tó jẹ́ kọjọ́ kẹjọ́ kú aké òun ni witness tí ń ṣe gate man wọn, tí ń ṣe security tí Bọ́lá Ìgè fọwọ́ rẹ̀ gbà tó ń sanwó fún, yàtọ̀ fáwọn ọlọ́pàá tíjọba kó fún tí wọ́n ń ṣọ́. Ẹnìkan ṣoṣo tó tún dọ́mọ ọ̀dọ̀ tó jẹ́ gate man tó jẹ́ witness tó lè witness against one court, nígbà threatening òun náà ni ó yílu ẹnu padà. Ikú tíyàwó Bọ́lá Ìgè kú, ikú pọ́kọ òun ò ní rí justice gbà ni. And this woman herself was a judge, adájọ́ lòun fún rẹ̀. Ọmọ Bọ́lá Ìgè tó wá narrate story òun náà jẹ́ lọ́yà. Ilé yẹn ilé legal luminaries ni n tó jọ mọ́fin ìdílé yẹn wà fún, wọn wà ní justice gbà. Mo fẹ́ tan torchlight wo judicial system wa, ṣé lóòótọ́ ló wà porous? Kí ni ìdí táwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà ò fi lè rí ìdájọ́ òdodo láyé forever tá a fi lè rí, tí a fi lè rí, mi sọ pé tá a fi rí, tí a fi lè rí? Why we cannot see true justice for life in this country? Màá fún wa láwọn examples kan. Fàpẹẹrẹ, ẹ wo case study ọmọkùnrin Olowookere tí wọ́n sọ pé kán lọ fi ẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ta gbà nítorí kó jẹ́dìyẹ àtòun àti kejì ẹ̀. Ara injustice kan náà tá a sọ ní Nàìjíríà nìyẹn. Torí pé nínú findings wa tá a ṣe, a padà rí àwọn òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ kan tó jáde lórí kéèsì ọmọ yẹn lélẹ̀ tó da orí mi rú púpọ̀ wípé ní Nàìjíríà tá a wà yìí, ìfẹ̀tọ́ ọmọ ènìyàn dún ní tá a bá ṣọ́ra bí ó ti máa lọ rèé ní Nàìjíríà tá a wà o. N tó ń pè ní ìfẹ̀tọ́ ọmọ ènìyàn dún ní á túbọ̀ máa lọ sí ni. Kò sí nǹkan tó jẹ́ fundamental human rights ní Nàìjíríà. Human being tí ò bá ti wà well connected kò ní right ní Nàìjíríà. Bọ́rọ̀ Nàìjíríà ṣe rí ni. If you are not well connected nílùú yìí o, ẹ gbàgbé ẹ̀, you don't have any right. Kò sí right kankan. Now ẹ jẹ́ n bẹ̀rẹ̀ látòrí tọmọkùnrin yẹn. Àwọn findings wa lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ọmọkùnrin yẹn ni wípé àwọn tí wọ́n kó pọ̀ mọ́ ọmọkùnrin yẹn, àwọn tí wọ́n kó pọ̀ gan, wọ́n tó 6 sí 8. Wọ́n kó wọn lọ sí police station. Àwọn ọlọ́pàá sọ pé kí wọ́n gba bail. Ní tí wọ́n ní kí bàbá yẹn lọ mú wá yẹn, bail ni. So wọ́n ní kí bàbá yẹn lọ mú 30,000 wá kó wá fi bail ọmọ ẹ̀. Bàbá ò ní 30,000. Bàbá yẹn rí 20,000 mú wá. Okay. 20,000 tí bàbá yẹn rí mú wá, DPO tó wà ní police station tí wọ́n mú ọmọ yẹn lọ, DPO yẹn sọ fún bàbá yẹn pé ó yá sọ pé ó ti lọ, ṣe bàbá ẹ sọmọ ẹ̀. Ọmọ yẹn àti ọmọ kejì tí wọn ò rí fi owó bail. Then láàrin wípé wọ́n investigate àwọn ọmọ yẹn, wọ́n lọ search àwọn ilé wọn, wọ́n rí àdá, wọ́n rí ìbọn tí bàbá ìkànnì wọn fi ń ṣọdẹ. Now lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ torí pé wọ́n ti fẹ́ charge àwọn yẹn sí court torí wọn owó bail wọn, wọ́n ní láti yí kéèsì àwọn ọmọ yẹn sí robbery. Ntaríkà ni mò ń sọ yìí o, torí pé wọ́n ti gbọ́rọ̀ àti padà gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu ọmọ tọ́rọ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ sí gangan. Fọ́tò ẹ̀lẹ́ ń wò yìí. wọ́n ti padà interview ọmọ yẹn one on one, ọmọ ti sọ bọ́rọ̀ ṣe jẹ́. Now wọ́n yí kéèsì yẹn nígbà tí wọ́n máa tún ẹjọ́ kọ, ẹjọ́ tí wọ́n máa gbé lọ kóòtù, ẹjọ́ wípé adé criminal làwọn ọmọ yẹn, wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rọ́ọ̀bù kiri, kódà wọ́n jà alájà lágbájá, wọ́n jà lólè, wọ́n gba a gallon of kẹ́ẹ̀gì palm oil lọ́wọ́ alájà yẹn, wọ́n jẹ nìkan lólè, wọ́n tún jẹ nìkan lólè, kódà value owó ẹ̀dìyẹ tí wọ́n kó 20-something thousand ni. Mo wá ro gbogbo ẹjọ́ tọmọ yẹn rò sílẹ̀, mo wo gbogbo ẹjọ́ yẹn pátá as ẹni tó jẹ́ pé ó ti wà nù system yẹn tẹ́lẹ̀. Mo wá rò lẹ́mìí mi, mo jókòó mo jò dáadáa ìpè kódà kan tiẹ̀ gbèrú ẹjọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ wá síwájú adájọ́. Àwọn tẹ́ wo yìí o, déngàn tán lórí, àdá tán lórí, ọmọ 17 years dẹ̀ ni wọ́n. Àwa rí i pé wọ́n ti rọ́ọ̀bù lágbájá, wọ́n gba epo gálọ̀n kan lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀, epo jíjẹ, epo pupa, wọ́n gba gálọ̀n kan lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Then wọ́n tún lọ sí poultry ẹnìkan, wọ́n tún lọ rọ́ọ̀bù bẹ̀, ẹyin àtẹ̀dìyẹ tó wọ̀ ti 20-something thousand, wọ́n tún kó o. If I were the judge tí mo wà lórí àpèrè ìjọ yẹn tó jẹ́ mi ni mo fẹ́ dájọ́, tí wọ́n ronú ẹjọ́ yẹn fẹ́ mi, I will use my discretion pé àkọ́kọ́ náà àwọn ọmọ ìdè àmáìnà ẹ lè pè wọ́n ládé criminal, they are minor. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì ni pé pátápátá the highest ìyà tí mo lè fi jẹ wọ́n ní kí n fún wọn ní 5 years imprisonment kán lè lọ fi kọ́gbọ́n. Màá dẹ̀ sọ pé juvenile home ni kí wọ́n kó wọn lọ, tá à ń pè ní bolster nínú iṣẹ́ prison, because they are not up to 18 years. Okay, káwá náà ti tó 18 years kan tó dájọ́, because process robbery, case robbery ní tí ó bá ṣe case tó fast track, case robbery ní máa tó 2 years, minimum 2 years, 3 years, nítorí DPP advice. Káwá sọ pé ọmọ yẹn ti wà of age, wọ́n ti kúrò ní minor kan tó dájọ́, but as at the time tí wọ́n commit offence they were still minor. Nígbà tẹ́ máa wá dájọ́ yẹn pátápátá ẹ̀ pé mo fún wọn pín, torí pé gbogbo nǹkan ni wọ́n gbé yìí, ó lé oúnjẹ, ó lé ẹni tẹ́bí ń pa ni mo rí sí. Káti ẹ̀ sọ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ̀rọ̀ ti jẹ́, ká ní wọ́n ní substantive evidence to prove pé wọ́n ká ọmọ yẹn mọ́bẹ̀. As a judge, èmi o personally o, ẹjọ́ tèmi ó dá ni pé just to serve as a deterrent, then láti fi àwọn ọmọ yẹn sí condemned cell, wọ́n wá di adé criminal. Gbogbo tó sì ṣe yẹn àìmọ̀sí ní gbogbo lọ́dọ̀ tèmi, gbogbo ọmọdé wọ́n lọ jẹ́dìyẹ gbé, wọ́n lọ ń gbé epo, wọn ò tí ì ṣáde criminal. Wọ́n lè gbé ìbọn léwọ́ bàbá wọn dání, kó tó lè gbé tọ́ ìbọn dání, ó tí ó pè wọn ò tí ì ṣáde criminal. Déngàn àwọn káàkiri ọ̀tá kùkùkùkùkù bí táwọn bàbá wa yẹ tó ń gbé lóko, àwọn yìí ò ṣèbọn. Lóòótọ́ wọn weapon is weapon, but a rí nínú ẹjọ́ tó gbé wá pé wọ́n ti ṣá mẹ́ta pa, wọ́n pa ẹnìkan bì kan, kìíní kan, gbogbo àwọn nǹkan yìí ló lè warrant death warrant tí wọ́n dájọ́ fún wọn yẹn. Bẹ́ẹ̀ pé wọ́n lọ gbé pọ́ǹbì kan, wọ́n jẹ́dìyẹ kó wọ́ ti 20,000 lẹ́ bá dájọ́ kú fún wọn. The judgment to me is too high. Conspiracy ni mo fi sí. Mo rò lọ́mí mi pé it's a conspiracy between the judge, the prosecuting counsel, and the DPO of the case, of the police station. Wọ́n conspire láti fi àjà ọmọ yẹn ní tí mo rò lọ́kùn ara ti tèmi àti ntọ́mọ yẹn sọ tí mo rí ká òun rè affordable cash pay Case yẹn. DPO asked me to admit and confess to a crime I didn't commit. Man sentenced to death in Osun says. Ṣẹ́gbọ́n tó wọ́n sọ, ó ní DPO ló force òun, and that is what we call confession under duress. Tó bá tọ́ṣọ́ èèyàn dé stage kan, ohun tó fojú rí rárá, ó ní mọ́gbà tó máa níwọ̀ ló ṣe. Ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tó ṣẹ̀rí tó mọ bó ṣe jẹ́ gan, ó ní mọ́gbà tó máa sọ pé wọ́n ló ṣe due to severe torturing. Severe torture èèyàn sọ pé òun lòun ṣe. Wọ́n ń perú confession yẹn ní confession under duress nínú òfin. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni yẹn ó wà force láti parọ́ mọ́ra ẹ̀ ni. And àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ defense counsel, wọ́n máa ń so determine wípé ẹni yìí òun kọ́ ló ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ yẹn, ó jẹ́wọ́ pé òun lòun ṣe ń torí wípé bọ́n ṣe tọ́jọ́ ẹni. Nigeria was shocked on Tuesday when social media was flooded with reports about Segun Olowookere. Mo ń mélé yìí wá láti fi substantiate claim mi wípé judicial system Nigeria it has problem. A dẹ̀ sọ ilé kìí ṣe láti fi bà Nigeria lórúkọ jẹ́, but for the government of the day láti lọ torchlight judicial system wa, láti lọ bá wa tún ṣe, láti lọ gbogbo tó bá rọ̀ǹgì díẹ̀, although ara nǹkan tá a ṣe máa sọ gọ́fìmẹ̀ntì wà ń díẹ̀, gọ́fìmẹ̀ntì náà lọ́wọ́ ń bẹ̀. Oníkálukú ló ń ṣèjọba, nígbà tó bá déjọba ló ń lo ẹjẹ́ máa bá lọ. An only child, Segun Olowookere, an only child who had been sentenced to death in Osun State for allegedly stealing chickens. The news generated widespread reactions, with many wondering what truly happened and why such a harsh punishment was given to the alleged crime. Mo rí lọ́yà kan tó jáde tó ń sọ pé àwọn ọmọ yẹn they are criminal, wọ́n ti rọ́ọ̀bù oríṣiríṣiríṣi, fine, àwọn tó rọ́ọ̀bù ọmọ yẹn sọ síbí. A correspondent from The Punch who had been following the case since Olowookere's detention in 2010 revealed that the complainant, àwọn tó gbẹ́jọ́ lọ kóòtù rẹ̀ o, the complainant in the case was a family member of Olowookere. The report explained that Olowookere was arrested at the age of 17 for the alleged offense. In an exclusive interview with Sunday Punch, Olowookere shared his side of the story and explained the events that led to his severe sentencing. According to the details, Olowookere was arrested alongside another person, Sunday Morakeyo, in Oyon, located in the Odo-Otin local government area of Osun State. In November 2010, the two were accused of robbing a policeman, Tope Balogun. Ṣé rí pé kéèsì kan ti pé méjì? Ọ̀tọ̀ lẹni tó lodge complaint, ọ̀tọ̀ ní tá tó gbọ́. The report explained that Olowookere was arrested at the age of 17 for the alleged offense. In an exclusive interview with the Sunday Punch, Olowookere shared the side of the story. According to the details, Olowookere was arrested alongside The two were accused of robbing a policeman, Tope Balogun, who was attached to the divisional police headquarters in Okuku. The robbery allegedly involved two chickens. 2 chickens and 1 egg and some eggs. On January 30th, 2013, both Olowookere and Morakeyo were brought before Justice Jide Falola at the Osun State High Court in Ikirun, where they were formally charged with robbery and stealing. The charges against them stated that Olowookere and Morakeyo had conspired in November 2010 to rob a man named Oguntade Faramade Chetigobai. Ògúntádé Faramade yẹn wọ́n ní pé yẹn ni rob of chicken and eggs valued at 20,000 naira. In addition, they were accused of robbing another individual, Balogun Taiwo, of 2 mobile phones and attempting to rob Alhaja Umuani Oyewo at her residence. The charge sheet further alleged that they were armed with cutlasses and tail gun and had used these weapons to rob a woman, Elizabeth Dare, of a gallon of vegetable oil. Ṣé gbọ́? Wọ́n ti gba gallon òróró kan rí tẹ́lẹ̀. Ẹdìyẹ tí wọ́n kó àtẹ̀yìn ó jẹ́ 20,000 naira. Torí tó ṣe condemn wọn to death rèé o. When the charges were read, both Olowookere and Morakiyo pleaded not guilty. However, the police claimed that Olowookere had made a conventional statement admitting to the crimes during interrogation. During the trial, the state counsel, Abiola Adewemimo, presented 6 witnesses, including Alhaja Umuani Oyewo, Elizabeth Dare and Ògúntádé Faramade, and 3 police officers. These witnesses provided testimony against Olowookere and Morakiyo, linking them to the alleged offences. Despite their plea of innocence, Olowookere's lawyer, Ayo Omolesho, argued in court that his client was not guilty. He pointed out that Olowookere was not apprehended at the scene of the crime and argued that the prosecution had failed to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. However, Justice Jide Falola found both Olowookere and Morakiyo guilty of the charges. On December 17, 2014, the court sentenced the two men to death for conspiracy to commit armed robbery, life imprisonment for robbery, and 3 years imprisonment for stealing. By the time the judgment was delivered, Olowookere was already 21 years old. So ṣe gbọ́ sétí. Conspiracy to rob. Kí ni wọ́n rob? Adìyẹ àti gallon òróró. Because of that, wọ́n jẹ̀bi ikú. Capital punishment for such crime. Wọ́n lè kó witnesses wá lóòótọ́. Kí ni wọ́n fẹ́ gbé òróró gallon kan? Èlò náà wá ń tó òróró gallon. Nígbà tí wọ́n sọ òróró gallon bóyá 50 naira, bóyá ẹja ní 5,000. Òróró gallon kan ńlá àbí kékeré náà fẹ́ rọ́ọ̀bù. Well, that is one judicial system. Nítorí nǹkan yìí, ta ló lè sọ pé lóòótọ́ ni wọ́n ṣe wọ́n náà kó witnesses wá? Fine. A lè rí witnesses. Àwọn ọmọ yìí lè ṣe lóòótọ́. I'm not supporting them. But is the judgment so? Is it okay? Agbanilétí orúnkún ṣẹ̀jẹ̀. Kí làwọn nǹkan tán kó? Wọ́n kó ẹdìyẹ. Wọ́n gbé òróró gallon kan. Èròjà oúnjẹ ti pé. Lẹ́bàá ní ẹ̀lọ́ pa wọ́n dànù. Eléyìí ò yẹ society. Well, investigation ìjọba á fojú hàn bóyá ó normal àbí kò normal. But I'm only trying to touchlight the judicial system for us to know that kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní the judiciary wa. Is it right? Now, táwọn ọmọ yẹn rèé tọ́lá àwọn èèyàn bí wípé bàbá Gbàgede àgbọ̀ kankan mọ́ lórí ọmọ yẹn ó súnmọ́ kí wọ́n ti fi sílẹ̀ according to the instructions given by the state governor pé kàn release ọmọ yẹn through prerogative of mercy wọ́n ti instruct the chief judge of Osun state ó dà pé màmá Adépèlé sí ni chief judge yeah. So wọ́n ti instruct ìyá yẹn kàn lọ release ọmọ yẹn tó bá release ẹ̀ kí ni next line of action á tún gbọ́. Ẹjọ́ tí wọ́n dá fọ́mọ yẹn ní ọ̀dọ̀ tèmi o èmi ò mọ̀fin débẹ̀ o but nítọ́gbọ́n ọmọdé tèmi the judgment was too harsh, the penalty was too severe. Bẹ́ẹ̀ lára àwọn tí wọ́n kó bílíọ̀n tó wà Nàìjíríà káàkiri kódà tún fún wọn chieftaincy title pàápàá kódà tábà ṣọ́ra election tó ń bọ̀ 2027 ìmí àgbákò tínú wa tó wọlé. Ṣé judicial system yẹn ṣó bára mu, ṣó correct? Kékeré nìyẹn. Ìtó wá jẹ́ bombshell ẹbẹ̀ tó yà mí lẹ́nu, tó gbomidé lójú mi, tó jẹ́ kémi gan conclude pé Dele Farotimi needs to be apologized to. Ohun tí mo rò pé máa yẹn ṣe ni pé ó fi hit government, kí government náà lè lọ investigate, kí wọ́n lè ṣe tó yẹ kó ṣe, to instruct the Chief Justice of the Federation that you people should cross your T's and dot your I's. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí judicial system wa? Kẹ́ ẹ lè fi correct it. That is what I think Dele Farotimi has done. In tí mo gbọ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí Bola Ige àti tó ṣẹlẹ̀ aftermath ó bà mí nínú, tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ kí n conclude that our judicial system is very, very, very porous really, and it has been there for long. It has been like that for long. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí ayé Tinubu kọ́ ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀, ó ti pẹ́ tó ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀, tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n máa fi gbákanbọ̀ kan nú báyìí ni. Bola Ige was initially, formally, Minister for Power. Kàtàná kápaná olókọ́ wà ní charge nígbà tó Ọbásanjọ́ wọlé ní 1999. Nígbà tó yá, ó change portfolio ẹ̀, being a lawyer, being a judge. Ó change portfolio ẹ̀ sí Chief Justice of the Federation and Minister for Justice. And to General of the Federation, Minister for Justice. Ó change ipò yẹn sí. As a minister, as someone that is holding such post, ó máa entitled sáwọn ọlọ́pàá, sáwọn security tó máa ṣọ́ àti ṣọ́lé ẹ̀. Wọ́n lára ẹ̀gbọ́n òyà ó lọ sí kò lọ gbé ìjọ yẹn lọ́n the 23rd of December 2021. Ó dẹ̀ lọ 2001 rather, ó lọ gbé bàbá yẹn wá. Ògbé lọ sí hospital, wọ́n admit ẹ̀ nìbàdàn bẹ́ẹ̀. Ó sì padà wálé àtìyàwó àtọmọ wọn kan ọkùnrin ìyẹn àtìyàwó ẹ̀. Then màmá tí ń ṣe ìyàwó bàbá Bola Ige àti Bola Ige fún rẹ̀ wọ́n wà lé, Christmas ń bọ̀. Àwọn ọlọ́pàá sì wà ń ta rẹpẹtẹ pẹ̀lú security táwọn náà gbà. Níbo wá làwọn ọlọ́pàá yẹn lọ tó fi di pé assassin dé? Wọ́n wá ti ọmọ bàbá Bola Ige àtìyàwó wọ́n tì wọ́n mọ́nú ilé kan, àtìyàwó máa yẹn náà wọ́n tì wọ́n mọ́nú ilé kan. Wọ́n wá lọ sí ilé Bola Ige, wọ́n ṣe apartment Bola Ige, wọ́n yìnbọn pa, wọ́n bá ọ̀nà lẹ́lẹ̀ pool of blood. Where were the security tí Bola Ige ní? Kò pẹ́ tán ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn, less than 20 minutes tí wọ́n pa Bola Ige. Ọmọ ẹ̀ obìnrin tó jẹ́ lọ́yà ìyẹn dé láti ilé ọkọ ẹ̀. Ó fẹ́ wá kí bàbá àti ìyá ẹ̀. Ó ní gift kan wà tó máa fún against Christmas. Ó wá síbẹ̀, ó mọ ọmọ ẹ̀ dání. Apartment yẹ́ ló kọ́ gbà lọ direct. Ó lóun bá ọlọ́pàá, òun sì bá nínú ọlọ́pàá yẹn ní compound àwọn tó tẹ̀ bọ́mọ òṣèré tọmọ òun kí fún. For us to know that àwọn ọlọ́pàá yẹn they went nowhere, they only paved way fún àwọn ayé assassin yẹn. Who knows pàápàá bóyá lára àwọn ọlọ́pàá yẹn gan l'assassin ló ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn. Ta ló dẹ̀ máa instruct wọn? Egun àtìró wọlé, èèyàn àtìró jáde. Ta ló fẹ́ instruct ọlọ́pàá? Èwo police? Ta ló command wọn? Ẹni méjì lọ́lọ́pàá lè gbọ́nà sí lẹ́nu bí wọ́n ṣe wà nílé ẹni tó ń ṣọ́ yẹn. Inspector General of Police àti Chief of Army àti ẹni méjì, Inspector General of Police àti number 1 lókè, Commander in Chief of the Armed Forces. Ẹni méjì tán lè pàṣẹ náà nìyẹn. Because federal staff lẹni tí wọ́n ń ṣọ́, kì í ṣe state. Ká ní state àbáná máa gbọ́nà sí state governor náà lẹ́nu. Federal staff lẹ́ni tó ń ṣọ́. Federal office ní Ige ló hold ní time yẹn. wọ́n wá pa Bọ́lá Ìgè tó bá jẹ́ pé ibi tí justice wà ní gbogbo security tí wọ́n details síbẹ̀ yẹn gbogbo wọn pátá náà máa kọ́kọ́ lọ tì wọ́n lé náà tó láwọn ni the chief suspect number 1 suspect àwọn ni where were you people nígbà tí wọ́n ṣe irú nǹkan yẹn tó dẹ̀ ti wà proof pé wọ́n pa Bọ́lá Ìgè ni tó ti wà proof pé assassin wà pamọ́ lẹ́nu where were his security details àwọn ló yẹ kọ́kọ́ kó first kọ́ tì mọ́lé ohun tóbìnrin yẹn wá sọ tó bà mí nínú jẹ́ jù tó jẹ́ kí n conclude lẹ́mìí mi pé bóyá ni Nigerians lè rí justice mọ́ ní Nigeria láíláí woman yẹn sọ pé from some few days after tí Bọ́lá Ìgè kú the leader of the security in his father's house our security to details ibẹ̀ ẹni tó jọ̀gá wọn was called to Abuja and promoted. They promoted him immediately. Ẹni tó jọ̀gá wọn tó jẹ́ leader wọn leader wọn tí wọ́n details ilé Bọ́lá Ìgè ẹni tó jẹ́ most senior láàrin wọn was summoned to Abuja and was promoted. Kí ló ṣe yẹ? It means pé ó ṣe tíjọba fẹ́ kó ṣe àbí ó ṣe táwọn paymaster wọn fẹ́ kó ṣe. Ìyẹn ò tún ti dùn mí. Ohun tó wá dùn mí jù ni pé wọ́n wá dé court. Wọ́n wá dé court. Ẹ má gbàgbé pé ìyàwó Bọ́lá Ìgè George ni. Bọ́lá Ìgè fún rẹ̀ Chief Justice of the Federation. Wọ́n wá dé court. Ta ló yẹ kó jẹ́ kó ló máa rí justice jù? Tí Chief Justice of the Federation ò bá rí justice, who are we? Ta làwọn ordinary citizen. Olùwẹ̀ sọ pé ayé Tinubu kọ́ ó ti pẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tí injustice ti ń reign Nigeria. Ẹ wò bàtà I'm talking of 1999 set till 2007 láyé Ọbásanjọ́. Ó dẹ̀ ti wà bẹ́ẹ̀ before Ọbásanjọ́ pàápàá. Àmọye case tó ti wá tó jẹ́ pé ẹ rí pé lè ìdájọ́ òdodo kọ́. Ìmí wọn fẹsẹ̀ pamọ́lẹ̀ tẹ́ẹ̀nì gbọ́n kankan mọ́ dọ́là. Wọ́n dẹ̀ pẹ̀lú yẹn wọ́n pa gbé. Pẹ̀lú pé wọ́n ródòdó ọ̀rọ̀ báyìí ẹ̀ ní rójútu ẹ̀ wọ́n dẹ̀ ti ra baraba yẹn lọ bẹ́ẹ̀. That is Nigeria for you. Ètí Délé Fárótìmí fẹ́ fàyọ nínú ìwé ẹ̀ tó kọ nìyẹn. Tàbá mọ̀ pé táwọn èèyàn ń sọ yìí ń bà wá lórúkọ jẹ́ Nàìjíríà. Kí ló dé tí Nàìjíríà fún rẹ̀ ò tún bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe? À ń dáwọn ìlú mi tó kú. À ń rí pé fundamental human rights ló kọ́ síwájú lọ́dọ̀ wọn to the extent that pé wọ́n tún extend ẹ̀ sọ́dọ̀ ẹranko. Mo lọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ kan tó já lápàtà. Ó lóun fẹ́ lọ Amẹ́ríkà kó tẹ̀ ló máa pẹran bẹ̀ kó lọ máa ṣe kinní. Ẹnìkan tó wà US ta tí yẹn wálé yẹn ní irọ́ o bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe pẹran Nàìjíríà kọ́ o ẹ̀ẹ̀kan lè lẹ́fẹ́ ṣe patí ẹ wá kí màálù mọ́lẹ̀ sáré bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́rùn bí ìtọ̀hún bí ti bí rárá ó ní kò sí lóẹ̀ lọ́rùn ó ní akílódé a lè fẹ́ ṣe patí kápá màálù ó ní rárá. Ó láwọn ibì kan ti wà tó já bàtíọ̀ tí wọ́n ní license láti pa ẹran ó ní kìdẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ẹran ọ̀gbẹ́ ó nítorí pé tó bá pa ológbò lásán láì láṣẹ láti pa tó bá pa bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n á gbé ẹ̀ olólógbò oníbẹ̀ ó ní tó bá na ẹran nínàkúnà lọ́hùn tí wọ́n bá gbé ẹ ó ní kódà ó lè torí ẹ̀ fi ẹsẹ̀ wọ̀n tó bá ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ fún ẹranko tó jẹ́ pé law wọn protect ẹranko ṣé law ti wá protect èèyàn débi kó fẹ́ protect ẹranko Nàìjíríà? If a board chief judge of the federation couldn't secure justice tí ò rí ìdájọ́ òdodo lórí ikú òjijì tó pa táwa làwọn ordinary citizen, we need to listen to that woman. Bí wọ́n ṣe ń gbọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀ láàárọ̀ orí mi tọ̀nà lẹ̀ orí mi làgbo gbàngbàngbàngbàng ni mi ìgbọ́ details yẹn tó bẹ́ẹ̀ rí. Woman yẹn ní nígbà tí mọ́mí àwọn ẹnìkan tó kù tó gbójúlé pé witness tó dẹ̀ ṣojú ẹ̀ ò ní security ó nígbà tí security náà yí ohun padà ó ní mọ́mí òun sọ pé Bọ́lá ti kú pé kò lè rí justice oníjọ́ kejì ni mọ́mí àwọn kú oníjọ́ kejì ni mọ́mí àwọn kú. Can you imagine? Wá jókòó èmi náà rò wá rántí tọmọ Olowookere ẹ̀ náà rò pé no wonder tọ́rọ̀ fi rí báyìí fọmọ yìí. Ẹ mọyì àwọn tọ́lọ́pàá ti rán sọ́run àpàpàǹdodo látara police station wọn. Wọ́n dẹ̀ evidence of proof kalẹ̀ èyí náà dẹ̀ rí wọ́n lámúrọ́bà nínà ó lè jẹ́ pé two fighting náà gbédé o wọ́n á sì náà máa sọ dámúrọ́bà yìí. A dúpẹ́ pé àwọn tí wọ́n kàwé tán wà well educated tán dẹ̀ páyà Ọlọ́run làwọn tó wà lókè fáwọn ọlọ́pàá sí i. Ìbá ti worst jù yìí lọ. Ẹgbófin tẹ́gbẹ́ tó kúnṣẹ́ ṣe láìpẹ́ yìí tọ́lọ́pàá bá gba fóònù tó bá gba fóònù ẹ lọ́wọ́ ẹ pé nọ́mbà báyìí ọlọ́pàá ò ní ráì láṣẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ ọlọ́pàá àwọn tó kàwé tó wà educated torí wọ́n dẹ̀ pé làwọn tó ṣẹ̀ gbé síbẹ̀ tí kì í bá ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ̀ ya wọ́n na woman kan lọ́jọ́ kan torí ìpójọ́ ọmọ Sita arms ní National Assembly lóbìnrin yẹn ṣe rí justice gbà ọmọ Sergeant at arms ni wọ́n ò mọ̀ Èkó náà ti nà wọ́n nà tó faṣọ ẹ̀yà tó nà sí tó ń wọ́ kiri inú gọ́tà ọlọ́pàá wọ́n wá mọ̀ pé nìkan cover wọn tí ìbá ṣe pé àwọn tó rí wọn pé ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wà ní Hems of Affairs níṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá l'Àbújá ni ọlọ́pàá ìgbà ti ní ká lanu káwọn yàgbẹ́ sí wọ́n ti ń bá lọ bẹ̀ kó tó di pé rú àwọn PPRO wọn àwọn CP tuntun àwọn CG tuntun tó ṣẹ̀ dé kán tó ṣẹ̀ gbéjọba fún wọn ẹ̀rí tán súnra kì í sìn ẹ̀rí tán súnra kì torí wípé wọ́n ti mọ̀ pé táwọn bá ṣẹ̀ ayé social media láwà immediately náà social media àkọ́kọ́ cast wọn náà táwọn yẹn bá dẹ̀ ti rí l'Àbújá wọn ni ò fẹ́ gbọ́ wọ́n máa pè wọ́n s'Àbújá ni tírú ẹ̀ bá ti ṣẹlẹ̀ irú revolution tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní tí ọlọ́pàá ẹ bá wa ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ní judiciary wa ẹ bá wa gbọ́n tó wà competent sí judiciary náà káwọn náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ní tí wọ́n ń ṣe náà táwọn ọlọ́pàá ṣe ẹ jẹ́ káwọn judiciary náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ I'm too sure DPO tí tó gbé ẹjọ́ ọmọ yìí lọ kóòtù yìí ẹ jẹ́ káwọn Àbújá náà bá wa ṣe investigate ọmọ yẹn ṣé lóòótọ́ lọmọ yẹn jam rubber then judge tó dájọ́ yẹn the chief judge of federation should come and torchlight the reason kọ́ bí woman yẹn kọ́ bí máa yẹn léèrè kí ni dé tó dẹjọ́ kú ló dá fún ṣé ó normal ṣé kó ṣe dájọ́ ẹ̀ tẹ́jọ́ yẹn normal ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀ dó lófin is it right because gbogbo tí mo ṣe rí tán kàlẹ̀ yìí àkọ́kọ́ náà confession ọmọ yẹn to me it is under duress wọ́n fọ́ọ̀sì ọmọ yẹn nígbà tí tọ́jọ́ pọ̀ lọ́mọ sọ pé olùlọ́ka yẹn tọ́mọ yẹn sọ pé DPO asked me to admit guilty ní ẹ̀ náà pè under duress ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì ni pé even at that pẹ̀lú pa nǹkan náà mọ̀ràn ọ̀gán tá a gbọ́ pọ̀ ọmọ yẹn gbé you will have seen it in them that they are minor robbers tó bá tiẹ̀ jẹ́ pọ́n gbé ìkọ̀kan dání wọ́n fi ṣe protection fúnra wọn ni wọ́n gbé epo wọ́n gbòòrò wọ́n gbé dìyẹ 20,000 ẹ̀dìyẹ yọ méjì àtọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹyin ṣé yẹn ni robbery ẹ ti rí báyìí lè yọ ọmọ tó yẹ ká ẹni bọ́ lọ jù síbì kan náà wọ́n sì máa kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ẹjọ́ tẹ máa dá ẹjọ́ tẹ máa make sure pé ẹ monitor wọn kọ́ máa lọ fi wọ́n sáwọn àárín àwọn adé criminal káwọn yẹn túbọ̀ máa lọ kọ́ wọn kọ̀kúkọ̀ kọ́ ba lè wúlò fórílẹ̀-èdè èmi rò pé that is the meaning of justice that's why kan fi ní kọ́ yí prison padà sí correction center kọ́ lè correction home ni ibi tó ti ń correct brain èèyàn ni kì í ṣe pé láti punish. Incarceration is not for punishment but to correct the notion kọ́ fi lè correct impression téèyàn ní nípa world kọ́ fi lè bẹ correct ẹ̀ kó lè jẹ́ pé reintegration and acceptability will be there nǹkan tí prisons wà fún nìyẹn or correctional home so tírú Bọ́lá Ìgè ò bá rí justice the then chief judge of the federation tó ń pa ní fọnà fọṣù tí ò dẹ̀ rí justice kí wàá là wá tàjọ́ mọ̀ ní. àwọn nǹkan tí mo sọ yìí èmi náà gbọ́ lẹ́nu ẹni tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ni wọ́n ní kì í kan ni ju ọmọ ìyá mi ló bí lọ. ẹ jẹ́ ká pe Mrs. Bola Ige Miss Bola Ige wọlé Mrs. mi ìrántí sọ́ọ̀nì mọ́ mi ìrántí orúkọ ọkọ ẹ̀ ní Bola Ige ni woman yẹn jẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu wọn fúnra wọn. Obilo tó jẹ́ broadcaster òun ló lọ interview woman yẹn kí n tó rí fídíò yẹn nǹkan tí woman yẹn sọ láàárọ̀ yìí ni mo wo fídíò yẹn in fact orí mi tanná lẹ́nu no mo wò pé forget Nigeria no tó bá gbóyà sọ pé ó ti lọ gbọ́dọ̀ máa bá lọ báyìí kẹ́ ní Nigeria máa dúró àwọn tó sọ pé there was a country called Nigeria ṣé wọn ò fẹ́ correct pẹ̀lú àwọn injustice tó ń lọ yìí ẹ jẹ́ agbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu woman yẹn.
Your dad assassination shook the whole country.
Yeah.
It's a story I can't forget.
It's a story many people can't.
And you narrated the story in your book.
Yeah.
How you came to the house and met everywhere quiet.
Yeah.
What happened that day?
That day was the day. It was a Sunday. I'll never forget. My birthday is on the 22nd of December. And every year, I write to my parents to thank them. I give them a gift every year. So that 22nd, I'd written a letter to my parents and a card to appreciate them. And then I sent food to them. So the 23rd morning, my dad had gone to Holy Communion. My parents prefer going to Holy Communion. My father grew up as a Catholic, so he likes Mass. He likes anything that is Holy Communion. He doesn't like Matins as much as he loves the Eucharist. So, and he likes to go to church very early. So he had gone to church very early that Sunday morning. He had gone to Holy Communion service at St. Hans. And then he called me. His older brother had been ill. He was ill in hospital in Lagos. He has his own family. This my dad's brother, my uncle.
You're talking about George Ige.
George Ige.
Bola Ige was the middle boy.
My father was the middle. George Ige was the oldest boy. Dele Ige was the youngest boy. They have two sisters. One who, the first child, and the one before my dad. There's one between George and my dad. And she's a lady, but the three men were the more prominent ones. So my dad was the middle of the three boys, the three men. And so he called me and he prayed for me like 40 minutes. Funsho, thank you so much. You know, you made me so happy. You make me so proud. I pray your children too will make you happy and make you proud, blah, blah, blah. That I have decided to go to Lagos to go and pick my brother and bring him to hospital in Ibadan. I'm like, Daddy, this man is 70-something. He has grown-up children. His first child is a professor. Why would you go and pick him from Lagos and bring him to Ibadan? He said, you know, most of his children are out of the country. His only son, my cousin Akinge, who actually lives near here, is in Ibadan. So he just thought he and Uncle Dele and Ibadan. And, you know, so they'll bring him, UCH is on strike, so they'll bring him to Olowookere Catholic Hospital. So he said he was going to Lagos. So I said, okay. The next day, Christmas Eve, they were supposed to go to SRK. And that 23rd was my church, All Saints Jericho's carol service. And my dad really loves my church, especially the choir and the carol service. So he said, oh, I'm going to come to the carol service. As soon as I get back from Lagos, I'll come to the carol service. So I'd gone to see my mom on that 23rd. My dad hadn't come back from Lagos. When we were going to carol service, I stopped by because my parents also live in Bodija. I also live in Bodija. By the time I was going to the carol service, my dad hadn't come. And so my mom was like, okay, I'll wait for him so that both of us will come together. Throughout the carol service, I was looking out. You know, if I see somebody come in, I'll think maybe it was my dad. So throughout the service, my dad didn't come. So I thought, it's unlike my dad. My dad is kind of person, if he gives a promise, especially to his children, he will try and fulfill that promise. So when I got back I went to my dad's house. And I got to my dad's house with my 2 kids. My husband didn't go.
That was on the 23rd of December, 2001.
December 2001, about 8 p.m. Just after 8 p.m. So when we got to the house in Bodija, my dad's driver and the policeman and the security detail, they were outside. And the driver was even playing with my daughter. My daughter was like, no, don't play with me, because I've trained my children, Nobody will just be touching my daughter's cheek and say, fine girl, you are my wife or you are my girlfriend. No, don't even play with me. So my daughter was not, so I just went straight up. The whole house, there was an eerie silence. Very odd. So my children were like, Grandma. So my son went to the study. I thought my mom was there, because in the study there's a bathroom, and my mom wasn't there. Grandma, on my dad's side, there are 2 wings of the house. My mom has one side, my dad has one side. Grandma. Then I heard my mom's voice faintly say, yes. So on my mom's door, the key was outside. So my son was the one who actually opened the door and found that it was locked. So he just undid the key. As he undid the key, Muiwa just leapt out and said, Daddy, I heard a shot. I'm like, what? Because I didn't even go to my dad's side. I was going to my mom's side first and then going to my dad's. Muiwa just ran out.
So they were locked in by the assassins.
The assassins locked my mom, Muiwa's wife, my uncle's wife, who my dad had gone to drop in Catholic Hospital Olowookere, locked them in my mom's room. I went to go and kill my dad. So Muiwa said he heard a shot. He heard shots. I'm like, shots? So anyway, Muiwa ran. And anybody that knows Muiwa knows that Muiwa is fitter than me. He flew. And then I just saw my dad's body on the floor. He was wearing white brocade, buba and shokoto. Muiwa too was wearing white buba and shokoto. Muiwa, then there was, a gunshot wound to his heart. Muiwa was now doing CPR. So he stuffed the place and he was doing CPR, put his mouth and was do the CPR, blah, blah, stop one, breathe into his mouth. I just broke down. He just said, then I think the houseboy, the steward now came, and I started crying. He said, Sister Fucho, don't cry. The steward now said, oh yeah, carry him. Helped carry my dad. He just took the car from the key from the driver, or maybe he had his own car, I don't even know. He just took one car. So I followed him. By the time I got to that housing corporation roundabout, my father lives just off a day. My brother was going at a speed that there was no way that I could match. So he had taken the body. So he had gone. So I now went home because my husband was like, this is the 3rd time you are going to your father's house, because I'm very close to my parents. So he decided that he's going to watch TV. So he was watching TV. And then I just came in and I said, Bero, my dad has been shot. I think my dad has been killed. He said, are you crazy? I said, did I lie like that yesterday? I said, somebody just shot my dad. He says, okay, so what are you doing here? I said, I came home to take my ATM card and whatever I have so that if they need money in the hospital. So he said, okay, where is he? I said, Muiwa was taking him to Olowookere. So my husband is Miro. He now got into the car. And then as we were going towards Olowookere, we got to this, from my house, we're about to turn into Awolowo. Then he said, where are the kids? I'm like, which kids? He said, our kids. I totally forgot I took kids to my parents' house. So he said, you know what? Where's mom? I said, mom is in the house with the kids. So he said, okay, I'll go and drop you in the house with the kids. By the time I got to the house with the kids, my mom was on the floor. My children were on the floor outside. And my mom was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe they shot my husband. I can't believe they killed my husband. My children were too, but I can't believe they killed my grandpa. I just got there. So my husband just dropped me. He didn't stop. I said, just go and meet me. We're in the hospital. I just got down. I said, Mom, yeah, get up now. Get up, get up, get up. I said, what? Don't let me get up. I will enter this ground. I said, you will not enter this ground. Mommy said, Bola is alive. I said, he's alive. Oh, yeah. Mommy, get up. Be sitting on the floor inside the sand. You know, he's okay. He's okay. I said, yes. I said, he's okay. You saw him? I said, yes. Me that I didn't even reach the hospital. I said, I saw him. I said, oh, yeah. Kayode, I also did get up. Oh, yeah, hold grandma. So I held my sister-in-law, Muiwa's wife. She had curled into the generator room. We didn't even know that was where she was, or the security. She had curled like this, like a fetus. She was just shaking. So I went, I said, oh, yeah, get up. Get up, get up. I said, Auntie, did they kill Daddy? I said, no, get up. So I persuaded them. We all went inside. And then a few minutes later, maybe like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, Muiwa came. His whole body too, it was drenched. My uncle was in one room. He had prostate cancer and he actually died the day after my father's funeral in Olowookere. My dad's dead, but you know, the nurses that were there, my dad had come, giving them money. This is for Christmas. I'm going to Esauki. Tomorrow, when I'm coming on Boxing Day, I'm going to be here. So they all still had the Christmas money my dad had given them when they brought my dad's corpse inside. So they were so shocked.
He had been there earlier.
He had been there like 2 hours before.
When he brought his elder brother.
When he brought his elder brother for admission. And then my husband had gone to tell his younger brother that my dad had been shot. So my husband went to pick my Uncle Dele. So as Uncle Dele got there, he fainted. So there were 3 Ige brothers, the dead one, the dying one, and the fainted one. And one of the nurses, my uncle didn't know what was happening. And they said, I think they brought the VIP because there's so much commotion going on. So when he realized that this is the older brother of the person that died, he just said, I think it is Bola. So she just said that another nurse now came in. I said, oh yeah, no, so yeah, come out, you know. So that was how they avoided telling my uncle. But after, I think he was in the news and then he just stopped. My uncle stopped eating from the day before, from the day after, and he died the day after the funeral. Once his children came and said, we've gone to Esa, we've done this, he just died the next day.
When you got to the house that day and you met the compound code,
yes,
where were his security orderlies? Because at that time he was the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice. Where were the security men that were detailed to take care of him?
Well, I saw 2 of them there. They were there. By the time I came back, they were there.
By the time you came back, they were there?
Yeah, by the time I got there, they were there. But from the countenance of the policeman, I knew because Muiwa wanted to, because they now came to Olowookere. And my brother was like, where were you when my dad was shot? Where were you? Where were you? And he was, you know, so to avoid a commotion, I think they took my dad's body into the theater and told Muiwa that they were going to do a surgery so that Muiwa could at least leave the place, because apparently he was so irate. And Muiwa saw a ladder. They were painting for Christmas. Muiwa climbed the ladder so that he could look into the theater to see if indeed they were doing anything to my dad. So I think Muiwa actually went through a lot more, because funny enough, both my mom and my dad, he was the one that carried them to the hospital. And, you know, so it's actually had more damaging effects on him psychologically. And he was, so he went with my dad to Lagos, and he knew that my dad, the excuse they gave was that my dad told them to go and eat. Now, there was food in the house. There were cooks in the house. And they were still going to take my auntie to her son's house in Olowookere Estate. So Muiwa claimed, he was in the car, that my dad never told them to go out to go and eat. But obviously, they knew they were going to come and kill my dad. So I was the unknown factor. Because if I did not come in, they would have been like the heroes and said, we just came and met him. And by the time, we now discovered that by the time I came, they had actually seen my dad's dead body on the floor.
They had seen it.
They had seen
and
it.
pretended
that they didn't see.
So the point is that when the assassins came, Bola Ige's security men were not around.
They said they were not around. They had locked my brother up, so nobody knew if indeed they were there, and they let those ones go in and do their work. But the excuse they gave was that they were not there. That's the excuse.
All of them?
All of them. And then 64 rounds of ammunition was locked up inside a cupboard.
Who locked it up?
The security detail.
So they were not armed when they left?
They were not armed when they left. They were not armed at any time. They did not plan to be armed. They had disarmed themselves. The security detail was actually promoted. He worked in the presidency after my dad was.
We are talking about the Attorney General of the Federation.
Yeah.
At the time.
At the time, yeah. Yeah.
Muiwa was there when the assassins came.
Yeah, Muiwa was there when
How many of them came in?
I don't know. But Muiwa said he recognized, because during the court proceedings, he actually recognized one of them who was not locked up, and he identified the person. But like now, the states themselves, they proclaimed a nolli prosequi, that there was nothing to prosecute, so they left them. Everybody's free. Nobody's been jailed or anything for Bola Ige's murder.
Your mom wanted to see justice.
My mom wanted to see justice because she's a judge and I'm a lawyer, and so it's a criminal matter, so it's the state versus the defendants. We, as his children, could only give the supports that we saw the government needed, and that was to give our testimony. So my brother was giving his testimony, and my mom would follow us to court. And then the main prosecution witness, who was the security guard in my father's house, he was put in the next door cell or something to the people who did it. And obviously they must have told him they were going to kill his parents or something. So when he went to court, he denied everything that he said. My mom died the next morning.
Your mom could not take it?
My mom just said, I can't believe it, that this justice system that she and her husband worked for, my dad as a lawyer, she as a judge, that when Sugarba's case was on in Maiduguri, my dad, they wanted to excommunicate him, say that he's not a Nigerian, that he's a foreigner. But, my dad did pro bono and went to Maiduguri to go and defend Sugaba when they wanted to send him out of Nigeria, excommunicate him from Nigeria. It was my dad. And so my mom was like, Bola that will fight for any other person's rights, so they will now kill him like this. And then, she told Muiwa that she wasn't feeling well. That day, the day before, 9th of April, I was in my school. We went to Lagos for a meeting. Then my sister-in-law, Mwiwa's wife, called me that my mom wasn't feeling very well. So I left my office. I went to her. And when I got there, my dad's doctor was Olowookere, so he came. We called him. He came to take blood samples from my mom. And he said that, there was element of malaria. So he started her on anti-malaria tablets. And so I stayed with her. She took her anti-malaria. She had lunch. I stayed with her. She had her dinner. Mwiwa came back from Lagos. He had even gotten to Lagos, to the place where he went for his meeting. And when he went upstairs, but he was supposed to go upstairs for his meeting, his wife called him that my mom wasn't feeling well, and that he had called me, she had called me, and that I was with my mom. What would my brother do? He now called the people upstairs that, okay, I'm sorry, I'm downstairs, but I'm not even going to come upstairs because I've just been told my mom has malaria and I'm going back to Ibadan. And those people say, are you out of your mind? You are here for a job worth millions of naira. Are you a doctor that you are going back to Ibadan? He said, no, because there's no way I can even have a meeting. My mind is... So my brother came back to Ibadan without his meeting. And my mom was just like, she just said, okay, it's just the two of us. So she said, that even though she's lost my brother, that these two children, she started praying for us. That if she says she wants one thing in the morning, by the evening she has 6, for sure we bring 4, we bring 2, she's really blessed, she's really this, God will bless us. So I said, amen, we all started praying, because Mwiwa had moved in to my dad's house from the day my dad was killed. He and his family now lived with my mom. So, and we always tease my mom that Mwiwa is her favorite because he's the last child. And my mom never used to say no, that Mwiwa is not her favorite. Everybody knew that Mwiwa is her favorite. So, and when people would say that I'm my dad's favorite, my mom would not say anything too. So we had my middle brother, Tunde is the brother, we say, me, I'm everybody's favorite. He doesn't want to be anybody's favorite. Both his parents are his favorites. So we used to kid that Mwiwa is mommy's handbag, because everywhere my mom went, Mwiwa followed. So Mwiwa was very close to my mom. So after my dad died, we had a meeting, Mom, you're going to live long so you can enjoy all the things that all the hardships my dad has put you through, the detentions, everything. This is your time to enjoy with your grandchildren. We had gotten married. We didn't know my mom was going to die 16 months later. So overnight, my mom just ruptured a vein behind her eye. And she too just died. She too died on a Thursday morning, April the 10th, 2003.
Yeah. So
that was the most devastating thing for Mwiwa and I. Mwiwa was just like, how? We just lost our dad. We just did the 1-year anniversary. They now killed our mom. As far as it's concerned, these are two people. They've got blood on their hands. Why am I even saying amen to that? They are saying we have become orphans. Do I know what that means? I said, okay, what are we going to do now? They are both dead now. So he was like, no, he's not accepting it. He can't even accept my dad's own. He's not accepting my mom's own. So it was very, very traumatic because, now with hindsight, I'm the only one that turned 40 with my parents alive. By the time my dad died the day after I turned 41. My brother died 6 weeks to his 31st birthday. Mwiwa was only 33 when my parents died. So it's been tough on him more than me.
So when the principal witness recounted, Mom knew it was over.
My mom knew it was over.
And the principal witness was the gate man of the house.
It was the guard. It was our own private security. It was not the one by the government.
And so he's the one that Bola Ige employed.
Yes.
So he's known to the house.
Yes.
He's like a member of the family.
Yes.
And he
even though he came from a security company.
Okay.
But it was the family that pays him. And the security company later said that it was because the people that the defendants were putting pressure on him, and they said they were going to kill his family. And if he stuck with his story. So the poor guy recanted.
What was his initial story?
His initial story is that he saw these people come in, and then he now got to...
I was able to identify them?
Yeah. At least he was able to say that my dad's security details were not there, and that some people had come in, and then when my driver... And then had said that I had come back. You know, there was no eating place around there. My dad, between the time my dad was killed and I came in, was 17 minutes. So my dad's security people didn't go far, if indeed they went anywhere. So, and there's no way that if anybody from their countenance, but funny enough, the security man, the security detail that was promoted after my dad's, he's now dead. When I saw that he died, I said to my brother, I said, so this man can die? He thought that they would never die. You know, so it was very sad because all the people, my dad was the kind of person, you know, people that worked for him, who would send their kids to university, who would send their kids to school. You know, this particular security detail, when he bought his car, my friend bought 5 brand new tires for him. So there are people that we knew.
Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ jí gìrì. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gba òmìnira tiwa. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ jí gìrì. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gba òmìnira tiwa. Òmìnira ni Yorùbá fẹ́ o nílẹ̀ bàbá wa. Òmìnira ni Yorùbá fẹ́ o nílẹ̀ bàbá wa. Ọmọ aláṣọ ò gbọ́dọ̀ wá kísà, ọmọ ẹlẹ́ran ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́gun. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ jí gìrì. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gba òmìnira tiwa. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ jí gìrì. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gba òmìnira tiwa. Òmìnira ni Yorùbá fẹ́ o nílẹ̀ bàbá wa. Òmìnira ni Yorùbá fẹ́ o nílẹ̀ bàbá wa. Ọmọ aláṣọ ò gbọ́dọ̀ wá kísà, ọmọ ẹlẹ́ran ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́.